What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, back at the Gramercy Theater for the good 50th time. And today we are here with Chaney from Entheos. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It's great to have you here. A lot of people are going crazy about the Dark Future record. It's definitely awesome. How was the recording and the record cycle been thus far?
It's been awesome so far. We, wrote the album in probably 5 or 6 months, give or take, writing and recording. And then we put the album out in November. Have done 2 national tours since then. It's been off the chain. Couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly.
Absolutely. And to get it done quickly nowadays, like in a 5-6 month things, is like rarity.
Yeah, we're lucky because Naveen, the drummer of our band, is an engineer. So he handles a lot of that stuff, and Evan tracks himself as well. So it's very easy for us to get through the process quickly and kind of stress-free because we have a good idea of what we want to make things sound like. So
Absolutely, and it definitely helps to have because you're not looking for a producer or a mixer or a studio. You just it's like all DIY pretty much, right?
Well, yeah, we do work with a guy named Zach Oren. He tracks our drums and he's mixed our records as well. And a guy named John Scripp actually mastered our album as well. So, but Zach has worked with Evan and I think just Naveen on stuff before Entheos, and he's done all of the Entheos stuff. So at this point we very much have like a method down, and it's pretty easy for us to like go through the process.
Excellent. Now, what I was always curious is that, Entheos has a lot of members from, previous projects such as Animals as Leaders and The Faceless, Scale the Summit. So when Entheos was formed, did that allow you guys to kind of bring in different elements from different bands and kind of combine it together? Or was Entheos meant to just be a fresh start and something the guys never did before?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't say that it was like everyone bringing in their own bands as much as it was just everyone bringing in kind of their own style. Naveen and Evan both have worked on solo records outside of the bands that they've been in. So on their own, they both each have very unique, distinct sounds. And they've worked together on those solo records as well. So we knew we were going to write a metal record, but the other influences we weren't necessarily drawing from an old band or anything like that. It's just kind of, they were in Animosity together as well before this all started, and I think that it was just kind of the forward progression of everyone working together. We didn't go into it like we're going to sound like this mixed with this and this, but everyone just kind of has a unique thing going on, so it's allowed the band to expand on that.
Yeah. It's cool because from talking with peers about you guys, like people have called you technical death metal. They called you gen, whatever the other 50 subgenres there are. But it seems like there's enough variety that you almost don't even have to go by a specific genre, right?
Right, which is pretty much our goal. There's no really, you can't really like pigeonhole our sound, at least in my opinion. And yeah, that's just kind of how it will always probably be because of the background of everyone and the fact that, we all have like everyone has a great variety of influences, and they're not all in the metal spectrum, and not everything that everyone writes, even, now Travis has joined the band, and it's just not everything that comes out of us is like this pure like metal thing. But it kind of lands in that territory.
Of course. Now, when writing music, because you have a very distinct, real heavy vocal sound. Some people say all the screaming vocals sound the same, but I could tell that it's yours when I was listening to you guys. But when you are recording vocals, do you hear the music first, or do you have like a lyrical subject matter in mind, and sometimes the guys write according to that?
They're never writing according to my lyrical matter. They're writing just based off of the riffs and ideas that they've brought into the picture. And however, I do usually go into an album cycle with some ideas in mind because I write a lot. I don't only write lyrics during album cycles. So it's just kind of it's something that I do all the time, perpetually. So from reading through things that I've written while I haven't been necessarily writing an album, I'll kind of go through and start to nail down subject matter. However, the actual vocal lines and nothing real comes into play until after I've heard a demo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting songwriting process, and
Yeah,
it's
it seems to
unique.
work. It's kind of what I've always done.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard too many stories like, oh, we hear the drum beat, we track guitar, and then vocals are last. Like,
yeah.
But it's cool to have like a different process for each song and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although vocals are always last.
Okay. Well,
Most of the time.
Well, that just broke my heart. I'm kidding. Now this tour with Rings of Saturn, Necrogoblicon, Allegiant, like this is a very diverse tour. I've noticed,
Which is awesome.
I love it that way.
I hope that more tours like this continue to happen, because I think that first of all, it brings in a large variety of fans who wouldn't necessarily go for one band but are definitely there for another, and because of that everyone's able to pick up new people and expose new people to their music. Beyond that, it's really fun being on a tour where not every band sounds exactly the same.
And it's a breath of fresh air. Earlier this year, there was a tour with Arch Enemy, Trivium, While She Sleeps, and Fit for an Autopsy. Those are 4 completely different bands. And
Totally.
this, like as you mentioned, you kind of actually just answered the question before I even asked, but you've noticed maybe like a variety of different fans in the crowd and stuff. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that, there's not much more you can ask for. I feel like shows back in the day were a lot more like that. There were varied lineups, and it would be cool to get back into that.
Yeah, there's been too many times where it's just like death metal,
Right.
maybe a deathcore
Which
band.
gets kind of boring. You know, it's not, as someone who does tour, when you're on tour with like 6 bands and everyone kind of sounds the same, it gets really redundant and boring, and you don't necessarily want to catch the bands as much, but to have a varied lineup makes it just interesting.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is like with you guys, it seems like you have elements of all the bands that are playing tonight, I've noticed. So it seems like if somebody's only here for one specific band, I'm like, nope, you got to check out Entheos because they have that as well.
We're like the metal melting pot.
Excellent. You solidified everything together.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks
First of
for-
3 interviews today.
Wow. Well, thanks for giving me time. That's a lot of interviewing to do in a day.
Yeah, thank you so much. But what could we be expecting from the Entheos Army after this tour?
We're going to do a lot more touring on Dark Future. That's kind of the plan. And we'll probably write an album in a year or 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's been loving this record, so you guys are like
I
red hot.
I love this record, and I love playing it. And I can't wait to play songs that we're not playing right now. And yeah, I fucking love this record, and I'm super proud of it.
Yeah.
So to hear that feedback really means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time. Everybody, Chaney of Entheos, be sure to pick up their latest record, Dark Future. It is absolutely awesome. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
See ya.